Hello again, fellow citizens. I'm Orbital Jeffo, back again in the Star Citizen 3.15 PTU. Since my last video, I've had some more opportunity to play around in this version of the PTU. I was really focusing on getting myself acquainted with traveling using the new inventory system, and I also had a chance to play with some of the medical equipment again, particularly in the Carrack med bay. Before I begin, though, I want to thank you so much for taking a few moments to view my content. My channel is just a mere baby infant flailing in its crib. Every little bit of engagement helps tremendously, so please consider tickling the like button, and if you have anything to add, I'd love to hear it. Please leave a comment below. My playthrough this time wasn't as easygoing as my previous one, although I still consider the new mechanics quite polished for having just rolled out. I don't know if server load or similar factors maybe had a hand in this, but I did experience a couple 30k server crashes this time. Accompanying those, my game would also go into a sort of permanent spinner state after each one, which required me to force quit and restart the game application, and this is new for me. Now, I will reiterate what I've said in recent videos, and that I've been incredibly lucky not experiencing 30k crashes, and I still believe this is something that has been improved upon. A minor annoyance bug that you'll probably notice here, and that I should mention, was that a simple UI scaling issue was happening when interacting with the touchscreens in-game. Not a huge issue, but also new since last time. So I went ahead and completed my pants and shoes errands from my last video, if for no other reason than to begin adding various items to my inventory. Everything that I purchased and stored in my previous playthrough was still safe and sound. However, at one point during all of the swapping between ships and locations that I was doing, I lost my Odyssey 2 flight suit. I had another flight suit to use and eventually purchased a new one, so this wasn't a huge deal. But this sort of brings me to the first main issue that I'm hoping is addressed before 3.15 is out of PTU, and that's lost items. Now, I'm not just talking about losing them in the sense of where did I put it. And by the way, I was correct in my assumption in the last video that the Knickknacks Mobiglass app is just a system-wide personal item locator. What I'm talking about here, though, is that I had several items disappear on me. The most notable being after a 30k had reset me back to New Babbage. I had loaded a lot of my everyday items into my Carrack storage for travel, and after logging back in to reclaim the ship, they were gone. Now, since claiming ship insurance delivers a brand new ship, it makes realistic sense that it wouldn't come with the items that I lost. But from a gameplay perspective, it was actually pretty frustrating. I lost a gun, my new medical supplies, the clothing items that I just purchased, so back to no pants and shoes again, and I even lost some helmets. This is one of those game realism versus real-life realism balancing dilemmas. And if I'm being honest, I hope they choose game realism on this one, at least for now until server crashes are a thing of the past. Losing a ton of items during battle, piracy, or some similar calamity is one thing, and an acceptable outcome in a game like Star Citizen. But losing them because the server pooped the bed and your ship is lost somewhere in the star system, that's another thing entirely. After having faced this dilemma, I decided to store some items in my Novikov armor, which is considerably sized. I'm looking to see how long they remain there, or if anything particular triggers their disappearance. I think the main complication to our new inventory system are the server crashes, and as those become less frequent, this might actually correct itself. But like I said, in the meantime, I wouldn't mind some permanence to items stored on ships. Just restore those items to the ship's storage when it's claimed, until 30Ks are a thing of the past. Now, I really like the new med bed on board the Carrack. I especially like the flip-around monitor that allows the patient to be managing their own medical care, or at least monitoring it. But I especially like the large touchscreen on the wall. This allows a medical technician or a doctor or somebody else on board to be in charge of the medical care. This all really adds life to the Carrack med bay and makes it a real believable medical facility on board this very massive ship. Now, something that I didn't notice on my last playthrough is that storage for personal items is measured in MicroSkus, indicated by the little mu symbol you see in the inventory window titles. I wanted to place a med pen in my pants pocket at one point, but it was just a few too large to do so. My gut wants to say that a med pen should be able to fit in the pocket of some slacks, since it fits in my hand nicely. Maybe they'll do a quick pass in the future just to make sure every item is proportionally sized. Now, I really wanted to experience more medical gameplay, but with the 230Ks, I just didn't have the situational opportunities to be able to do so. But I did figure out that injuries are something that happen independently of your health bar. Not every low health situation will have an accompanying injury. There were several times I was able to lower my health to be able to take advantage of the med beds. However, no particular injuries were ever indicated. Your base health, I guess you could call it, is automatically healed when lying in a med bed without any player intervention. Injuries, on the other hand, seem to require a medical procedure. I'm hoping to see this expanded to cover more low health situations, for example hypoxia or vacuum exposure. And next time I'll also try jumping from a certain height to try and induce some sort of fracture, and I'll enlist the help of another player to be able to test out more serious injuries like gunshots and performing medical care with another person or on another person. I did notice what appeared to be an emergency medical situation in progress in an elevator at one of the hospitals, but I didn't want to be rude and interrupt them. All in all, the medical system appears to be pretty deep and robust, and I look forward to getting to see more of it as time goes on. So this session wasn't quite as polished as my last one, as we definitely experienced some bugs and crashes along the way. And that's what the PTU's for. Now, I'm not sure if I'm being too hopeful for a few of these things to get hammered out for when it goes live, but if nothing else, I'm at least hoping that they figure out an interim solution for saving our ship-stored items during a server crash. Well, please let me know what you think in the comments below if you have any extra ideas or disagree with anything. And for now, we'll leave it there so you can float on down the YouTube river. I hope you'll join me again for more Star Citizen and other Space Sim videos. And thanks so much for watching. I'm Orbital Jeffo. Please be kind to one another out there.